Hey, good evening. Tuesday, October 10th, 2023, and yet another episode of Big Brother 25 has come out. Another POV episode where we don't even get to see the post-veto nominations. And I am fed up with it, quite frankly. But we're just getting started here on Super Mater Brothers podcasting, covering yet another episode 29 of Big Brother 25, the week 10 Power of Veto, but it wasn't. The Power of Veto compels you. Yeah. I'm Dave Mater. I'm joined with Jaemeel Robinson. We're here to talk about yet another episode. We have Zingbot. We have Otev. They're the same person in this episode. You were right, Jaemeel. That's what it was. We got a live stream here, live comments coming through us in Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitch, or maybe, well, that's probably all. Yeah. As the reign of Bowie Jane here continues. So it seems to be they don't want to give us the final nominations on a Tuesday episode of Veto. So
it's ultimately the problem with film, like having a broadcast on Tuesday. The turnaround time is too short for them to really kind of put together an episode, because typically what happens is the veto competition is usually done on a Sunday, right? And then the nominations, the veto ceremony is done on a Monday, right? So they would have yesterday, after the ceremony, and then today to kind of produce that episode. And frankly, they might think that there's not enough to fill out the rest of the beginning of the Wednesday episode, especially if we don't have a live HOH again.
Yeah. Well, all I need is at the end of the veto ceremony, which had already happened, right?
It did.
When did it happen? Yesterday?
Yeah.
They have time to get into the episode, at the very end of it.
They could.
They're literally about to have the veto meeting when this episode ends.
Yeah.
Okay, and
we'll talk about what the impression is in terms of what's going to happen, and when we get into spoilers, I can confirm what happened.
All right. Well, we'll talk about the post results here, but yet again, there's interesting kind of dynamics here in the house with everybody trying to get in Bowie Jane's ear, trying to get her to do what they want to do. She doesn't want to do what they want to do. She wants to do what she wants to do. However, how much that could affect her game long-term, good or bad, I'm not quite sure. But it's been kind of interesting. Of course, basically Cameron is a target for many people in the house, including Corey, especially, but also Jag and Matt. But what's his name? The guy who Cameron doesn't really seem to understand that. Nope. Cameron was going on about his intuition tonight, but I don't think he has very good intuition.
No. Cameron is a blunt force object, and he has no real nuance to this game. And through the luck of fools that he has been able to perform so well in these challenges, right? That he's either HOH, right? Or he's won veto, right? And that's how he's been able to, have any type of power in this game. But he has no ability to maintain it, to flourish it. Does anyone really trust him? No, right? You see how Matt and Jag get along. Felicia and Sari have had their ups and downs, but Felicia trusts Sari, someone who's directly screwed her, over Cameron, who hasn't directly screwed her at all, right? It just shows the difference. Right. So,
yeah, I know people don't want to go to the end with Cameron. I don't think anybody wants to go to the end with Cameron or wants to be in a ride or die or anything like that with him.
I don't think people like him ultimately.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it. That was definitely he gets a pretty good zing in here tonight. And that was one question here from Sam. What is the best zing? And I think that this is the one. I'm going to pull it, although the one for Corey was pretty good too. But here's Cameron's 28 seconds.
Cameron, congratulations! You received a military promotion while in the Big Brother house. house.
Can't be good.
You've gone from Lieutenant Loser to Major Tool.
Major effing tool.
Oh, okay. Was effing?
Yeah.
Wow, that really, that really gave him the screws. I didn't. They could have talked about how he has no ability to, form personal relationships. How he is craving America, and America has no interest in this man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought those two would have been the major focus.
Yeah, and then after that zing, like there's a whole bunch of confessionals in the diary room, basically with like people confirming that he's a major effing tool, and that like with some emphasis, with some enthusiasm. People really don't seem to like him. Blue, I don't think likes him, but she, and it was like, well, everyone's afraid of Cameron and Blue becoming a pair. I'm like, they will never be a pair. They might work together for a while at best. But that's it,
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was something else here. Trying to think about the episode. The episode was mostly the competition, and the picking of the competition, and there was a few other segments with like basically Cameron and Corey both trying to get in Bowie's ears about going after each other. Jag and Matt play in the middle, but truly wanting Cameron to go. And Jag tells us in the episode that his ideal final five is him, Matt, Bowie, Suri, and Felicia. So he doesn't want to see either Suri or Felicia go this week, of course. So if it can be Cameron, that's better. Now, obviously, he wants Cameron, like Corey, America, presumably. But not imminently. Like I think Cameron is at the top of his list at the moment, and he seems to be doing well in getting what he wants here. And then we had our players picked for the veto itself. Who do we have here? America,
Jag, and Matt.
America, Jag, and Matt, and of course, the two nominees themselves. There they are. There's your crew off the bat. So once Cameron was.
Yeah, once Cameron wasn't picked for it, it was like, oh my gosh, this is the ideal scenario.
Well, are they wrong to think so? Like, and shouldn't Cameron be thinking like, I don't know. I guess with Cameron, the thing I'm looking at his game is that he's too easy to trust people, and I know you have to trust people in a game like this, or you have to try to trust somebody. But every alliance he ends up in is really not a real alliance. It feels like it's a temporary keep me safe kind of thing in case Cameron wins power, in case Cameron has the ability to do something. I want to be on his good side, but there's no true alliance with Cameron like since the Hand, I want to say, going way back. And
the Hand.
Remember that? Or I don't like him and Red even fell off, right? Of course. And so I don't know if there's any like true path for Cameron here to get to the end, unless he wins out, which he didn't do this week. So and so I get why they want to go after him, but Bowie Jane doesn't care about that because Cameron has kept Bowie Jane safe
he?
Well, he didn't nominate her when he was HOH anytime.
That doesn't necessarily mean that he kept her safe.
Well, that's how she's looking at it. And they were both on that other side of that red vote way back when. And so that seemed to have bonded them on some level, or at least they were looking out for each other. But I don't think she likes him per se either.
Okay. And this was brought up by another person in general, and it brings up an interesting point. Can anyone name any decision that Bowie Jane and Cameron made together?
That Bowie and Cameron made together.
Because there was a lot of this is Bowie Jane's first, pass at power, yes. Right? So other people have had the power. Has anyone included Bowie Jane in discussing like what to do with said power, right? And the answer is no, right? A lot of times people have told her or not told her anything, right?
Yeah.
But never really like, what do you think, right? Even when she was part of Bye Bye Bitches, right? Was not really a part of the brain trust of that, right? It was mostly, Izzy, Suri, Miss Felicia sometimes, right?
Right.
And Mimi and her and Bowie Jane were pretty much just, bodies, part of the group, the feet, right?
Yeah, like I would say for sure. Like, but here we are. Week 10. Bowie Jane has been sort of largely been absent in this game, largely been quiet, not present, not included in conversations. But all this out of the blue here, not to be confused with Blue the player. She wins the power this week, a pretty pivotal week too, I think, in terms of like how the numbers are going to fly here moving forward. And she was like, I don't want to sit next to Suri at the end. We have to get Suri out. Where the mostly the men, these like more competitive men, whether it be Jag, Matt, Cameron, Corey, they all want they're like, we can get Suri out later. We can get out Felicia later. We need to get out the other comp threats now, and Bowie Jane doesn't care about that. So it's like I do respect that she's kind of not being manipulated too easily. I think she's smarter than that. But I
She
don't
has some agency.
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
But we see here in the episode that when Cameron does go to talk to Bowie Jane, and Bowie Jane's like, well, I don't really want to put up a Corey right now. That doesn't work for my game. Then Cameron gets all suspicious, and he confronts Jag in the bathroom in the episode, and he's like, well, like she doesn't want to go after Corey. That must be that what Mimi said was true. That Bowie Jane is working with Corey in America. And I was like, I'm watching this. I'm like, Cameron, even if that's true, what then? Like, what are you? Why giving this information to Jag now? Why this conversation you're giving to Jag now? It only serves to hurt you, and it ultimately does, because Jag just turns around and he just nods and says yes to everything that Cameron's saying, and then he goes right to Bowie and he says, "Oh, well, Cameron doesn't trust you, and he's throwing you under the bus hard, and he thinks you and Corey and America are all tight and whatever." And I was just like, "Yeah, like, that's why you shouldn't have had this conversation, Cameron. There was no reason to, even if that's what your thought is, because Cameron, you've had power multiple times. This is one of the times you don't." And I guess like what I'm looking at it going, like, you should know the other flaw here is he's choosing to trust Jag, which ultimately Jag's telling us right straight up. He's like, whatever you want to hear, Cameron, I'll tell you anything you want to hear, until I finally will come for you. Right. So, and make sure you get evicted here. So, but does Cameron have to try to trust somebody, or is he just naive?
Okay. My internet connection, I apologize in advance for it. But you bring up an interesting point, and this comes up as a confrontation I don't believe is going to come up on the show. And it's between America and Cameron. And Cameron questions America and Corey's position. And America flat out tells him, it's like, look, we've been down this road before. Every single time we try to work with you, you turn around and decide to work with Matt and Jag or someone else altogether, right? And ultimately, you want to play a game where you're playing with physical threats. That's why the only people that you truly respected are physical threats. That's why you always go back to Matt and Jag, and you just take their word immediately, because you assume that they're playing the exact same game as you, right? Whereas Corey, right, is only going after Cameron because he believes Cameron's coming after him, right?
Right.
Ultimately, right? That's what set it off, right? And then Cameron just keeps weaponizing Blue against Corey all the time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Yeah. It might also have to do with the fact that Cameron might be jealous that Corey has America, right?
Yeah, that too.
Right.
He wants to become an American citizen.
And Sam wants to also throw Corey in the sea. So
I got some bad news for you, Sam.
Yeah, like he's digging his own grave, as Bowie will tell us in the episode. And I was just like, this is why, Cameron, you exactly. I couldn't put a better caption on it, right?
He should have just given in and said, Bowie Jane, take the wheel. I trust you,
Right.
Let her have her time. If she wants to go after Suri, let's get out Suri. You can't run her HOH for her. And the more that you step over the line from suggesting to like imploring, right?
Yeah.
She's like, and then you have the opposite, right? With Matt and Jag, where they're saying, "Hey, I understand your point of view. Makes sense to put up both Suri and Felicia. I'm just putting it out there that, hey, maybe getting out Cameron might be a good idea." And Bowie Jane's response is, "I need to have a reason to," right?
Well, I think she did have to have a reason, and she didn't have a good reason to put up Cameron before. Not really. Like,
fair enough. From her point of view, which is, I need to eliminate the people who will take my spot at the end. And given the gameplay that she's played in terms of her abilities of winning competition, it would be Felicia and Suri. So it makes perfect sense what she was doing.
yeah, I agree with that. And well, and tonight, like Felicia in one of the diary rooms, the fangs came out. She said that Bowie had that fake smile that she had, right? She's got that fake smile. I don't like, she told me I was safe and then she wasn't. Okay. Let's talk about the zing. The first part was in the Scrambleverse. We got to see the Zingbot 9000, who is from the Scrambleverse, where this Zingbot only gives compliments. Was telling everyone they have a nice face. And Jag was not liking it. He's like, I didn't sign up for this. I want to be roasted. And he was not roasting them. But
he was not roasting before or after, in my opinion.
He was after more so. This was kind of just a little teaser, I think, to get out the classic Zingbot costume before they ultimately went to the OTEV. Which is where we went here. Now, there's some fun things here. We had like this kind of the backdrop about Loserville. It was all like these Big Brother alumni legends here, like mostly early boot players, but not exclusively. You can see Pow Pow there. You can see like
I suck. I know.
I suck. I know. You got Jose. But you also have like Victoria, who got third place, right? So it was kind of.
Remember,
Travis.
A bird picked her up and almost carried her away.
Yeah, like it was kind of like some of the production design was there. It was kind of interesting now that the writers strike over, now that they can actually write some jokes. And I would say that these zings were better than they had been in most of the previous seasons. Not that they're amazing, but it's been pretty bad for the last couple of years. So I would. Who else? You got Cameron in that backdrop. Jillian, Jacob. They even Steve. Remember Summer Steve 2019.
Summer Steve.
Yeah.
Summer Steve.
Summer Steve. Nicole. I don't know. Even Indy was there. So yeah, some interesting ones. Joey, Carol, Keith, Frenchie, even was more idiots. Yeah. So
Travis.
Yeah, I forgot about Travis. Yeah, so I don't know, it was kind of fun. There was like so they compared Bowie Jane to a great white shark with the teeth. They're like, what,
which is spot on.
What did they say? They said that Felicia had wrinkles, but that was disputed by everybody. And she's like, I don't have wrinkles, and I would have to say that I wouldn't say that Felicia's very wrinkly. Suri was. She say like, now you've lost all your allies. Suri, now you can do what you do best. Lose on an island by yourself.
Yes. That one was good.
Yeah, that one was good. Matt, I can't even remember what his was.
Was it about Riley?
No. It wasn't very good. Jags was all about him being sort of boring. That he was, the car comparisons. We'll come back to America in a second. Blues was about how she's got no fashion sense and her insults are bad or something like that. And like as she's wearing jorts was kind of pointed out. Corey didn't actually get a zing directly. It was all about a song directed at America, which we'll come back to. And then of course we already played Cameron's, which he's the major effing tool. So I don't know. Not great stuff. I would put it on the mid card.
Absolute mid. I'm just saying we're a far cry away from Kathy Griffin showing up and just burning Zach to the point where he just couldn't help but laugh.
And Debbie, I do see your question there, but it's a spoiler question, so I can't answer it yet. So we'll get to it. Because they didn't give us the results in this episode, so I can't talk about it yet. Anyway, the competition itself, very standard stuff, with the OTEV competition. Although, one thing that was pointed out throughout by Jane was that this ramp seemed pretty easy to walk up, maybe compared to past years. Didn't seem as slippery or sort of treacherous. It seemed like most people were just walking up it, even though it was like kind of a waterfall. And so I don't know if that was done for safety purposes or not, or just
or because there's elderly people in this competition.
Yeah, I think they might have made it a little less slippery for Felicia's sake, maybe in particular. But they slowly but surely they all get eliminated. And until the one America's elimination maybe was the funniest because she got eliminated she was already up there. She drops her thing on the waterfall. She falls down, and then Felicia beats her to the top. And actually, that's when America got eliminated. But Felicia got knocked out in the next round. There was also the one round where Suri went up with the wrong answers. It was about who the second and third people voted out were, and she had the first and second. So who was that? First and second would have been Kirsten. She had Kirsten and Riley, but she needed Riley and Heisem.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, I guess we're forgetting about Luke. He's excommunicated here.
Excommunicado.
Yeah, he's not even in the population of Loserville.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I don't know. Like I'm not gonna go through beat by beat on the competition.
Miss Felicia was stacking her answers, which is, that's a strategy, what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, she got knocked out here. It comes down to, they keep dropping all this stuff on them. I don't know. This competition was a lot of the episode.
Yeah.
Then Mac got, so it came down to Bowie and Jag, right? Yeah.
Yep.
And Jag wins.
And some people suspect that Bowie threw it.
Well, if she had, I wouldn't be surprised if she threw it at all. Because she's trying to avoid the blood on her hands thing here, right? She doesn't want to make a huge move. I think she can afford to. It actually might behoove her to. But just so she can say, when I was HOH, I made a big move. But she's choosing to think of it more methodically and saying, like, no, my biggest threats in the end game are probably Suri and Felicia, which might be true in her case. If she's just trying to get into a final two with somebody. And Bowie, if Felicia's there, they might be more tempted to sit next to her than Bowie, so maybe she should get her out. But if she had the veto, the pressure would have been on quite a bit to use it, to try to put up one or the other. So maybe she just didn't want the hassle of that.
Yeah.
Of all that power, right?
Makes sense.
Yeah, it makes more or less sense. Then there's another conversation here with Bowie and Cameron before the veto, where he's like, "I'm getting a feeling that you're not on my side, Bowie James." And,
which, if you did have that feeling, wouldn't it be better to go, "Hey, regardless of what happens, I'm on your side. If you decide if it's used and you make a move, I'm with you. I understand it. We're in it to the end." That kind of reassurance is necessary.
Yeah,
right? I don't think you're on my side.
That's not really the conversation they have, to be fair. So it's I don't think he does a great job of diffusing it. He's not always the best on these one-on-one conversations, as we know. And then we finally get the veto where it's about time to have the veto, but of course they don't show us what will happen Thursday. Will she backdoor somebody? Or not, and that's the end of the episode. And I am ready to get into spoilers at this point. Because come on, like.
Okay, before we do, we have a request. Did you see the request?
No, what is it?
Oh, I can't, because I'm a guest in this episode.
Oh, okay.
It's the third last comment.
Can you zing Jaemeel and Jaemeel zing Dave? Okay. I'm not as good at zinging people, but Jaemeel, yeah, I don't even know what to say. Uh,
Need more prep time, or do
I
you
need
want
more
to wait
prep
till?
time.
Do you want to wait till
I'm on the
Thursday?
writers. My writers are also on strike, and they haven't
So
come back.
Thursday, we'll think of some zings,
Yeah,
and we'll get back to you, Sam. Okay.
yeah. There you go.
Zing. Okay, Thursday.
Jaemeel. Well, on that note, let's just get into the spoilers. That's the spoiler warning, guys.
Yeah.
I hit that by
See you on
accident.
Thursday, folks. If you don't want any
If
spoilers.
you don't want to know, but of course you want to know. And now we're getting into it because it's a travesty. This isn't even a spoiler. This is giving you what you deserve, information about what actually happened in the house days ago. So so Jaemeel, what happened?
Yeah, Cameron was put up. It's fairly straightforward, right? We talked about it yesterday.
Who was taken down? Who was taken down? Felicia?
Miss Felicia was taken down.
Okay.
So there is strategy around it. Or I should say there is the impression of strategy around it. So,
well, the question here from Debbie from earlier, which I wanted to get to, was what was the reason why Bowie put Cameron on the block, other than Jags tells her to? Never got an answer to that. Although I think the episode does try to answer that, like that Jag had been planting these seeds for days.
For days, and Cameron hasn't done a good job in terms of he was basically telling Bowie what to do as opposed to discussing it with her, and then with the constant news coming back to Bowie that Cameron didn't trust her, was questioning her thoughts and motives, and it was enough for Bowie Jane to go, okay, enough. We need to move forward. I don't think there's a path to move forward with Cameron and me as a duo because there's no trust there. Ultimately, what happened. Now, in terms of the decision as to why Miss Felicia versus Sari, Jag wanted to take Sari down because, as mentioned before in previous of this show, in spoilers, I've mentioned that everyone practically does not want to get rid of Sari right now, right? Because there's bigger fish to fry, and everyone has a good has.
Like America? Like who?
In terms of like working relationships, right?
But it's Sari. It's Sari Fields.
At the same time, she's still able to connect well with people because Corey technically still wants to work with her. Jag and Matt are like, we can get rid of her. It won't be the worst thing in the world. But if we can get out Cameron or Corey first, then why not? Right? Blue still has that connection with Jared, right? To Sari, right? And even Cameron, because he's like, why waste it on Sari or Miss Felicia? Because we can easily, get them out at any time. So when it came to take them down, Sari requested that Miss Felicia get taken down instead, right? Because Sari, she's like, if I get eliminated, it's not really the worst thing in the world. She's at that point, right? But what that has done is, with Cameron, once he realized he was going to be on the block, he was trying to gather up forces to have enough votes. The problem is he can't, because if Matt and Jag are pushing for him to get out, right? So that's 2 votes there, right? Who are the 2 votes on his side, right? And that the only people that you have left is Miss Felicia, right? And Blue, both of which are not going to go for, are not going to choose him over Sari, right? Because Blue will not vote against Sari. If Miss Felicia was up there, Cameron at least had a chance.
Yeah.
Right? Because Blue would vote for Miss Felicia out, no doubt. So, inadvertently, by suggesting it, Sari has kind of protected herself.
Because she's seeming like she's not fighting for herself.
Not even that, because Blue will not vote for her.
Do they need Blue's vote to make it work?
They do, because where are the votes? It's Corey, America, Blue, Matt, and Jag.
Okay. Those are the only people voting this week. Right?
Sorry?
Well, Felicia votes too now.
Yeah, and Miss Felicia.
Right? So, okay. So, but is this all like they have to get Cameron out now, right? Like,
Yeah, it's gone. The man is practically gone.
Yeah.
There's no way.
There's no way, like, as tempting as a target as Suri is. Now, how does this reflect on Bowie Jane's week as HOH? Ultimately, it's Cameron who goes out on her HOH here.
It's kind of cemented the relationship with Bowie Jane and Matt and Jag.
Yeah, because they do want. I think a lot of people want Bowie Jane in their final 3 just to cut her, or maybe you can go final 2 with her. Maybe Jag wants to cut Matt at final 3 and go to the end with Bowie Jane or something like that, or vice versa, from Matt's perspective, right?
Yeah.
So I think that there's a possibility. I think, but like compared, I don't think Bowie Jane's like a Victoria level, like third wheel here or anything like that. Although she's not the most exciting, dynamic Big Brother player ever either. So it's going to be interesting to see if she gets. I think this HOH for her is interesting. That it happened now, but
I think she's now one of the 2 people who have yet to be nominated.
Yeah,
her and Matt.
Right. Suri is now, she says in the episode tonight, I made it 60 something days without a nomination, but the streak is broken. So now that's only, Blue's been up? Has Blue been
Blue's
up?
been up. Yeah. With Jared.
Okay. Oh, right. Yeah. In the double.
Yeah.
It feels like a long time ago now. Okay. So Cameron goes, do you think we'll at least get an HOH on Thursday?
Everyone kind of suspects it's going to be slip and slide as an HOH, not a veto, but we'll see. Sam has a question here
about Jeff
before we wrap up. Sam, about Jag.
Oh, that one. Do you think the Jag will start to get a big target? I think, well, maybe. Although I think Corey is still a bigger target. I still think like there are bigger targets. Everyone's
Corey did himself a disservice because throughout the Big Brother process, he was warning them about at the end how memorization comps are going to be more important, and he talked about how good he is at that, and he would help people practice. So people have this impression in their heads that Corey's going to feast at the end of the game, so we need to get rid of him out, right? So he's put that target technically on his own back. At the same time, a lot of the conversations like America has had is we need to get rid of the duos, right? So like, right? This has now been the directives like, okay, we got Cameron out of the game, but soon we're going to have to go against Matt and Jag. We have to go against Miss Felicia and Suri. Not understanding that she's talking about like duos, and her and Corey are like the biggest, duo technically out of them all, because it happened just recently. They've officially stated they are boyfriend and girlfriend, and what's it called again? Corey's going to take a year off from school and try to make it work.
Oh well, America was accused of robbing the cradle tonight.
Yes,
with their big 5-year difference.
And they announced it to everyone.
Like to Sam's question, I'm like, who isn't a target at this point?
Everyone should technically be considered a target, because one less you need to get rid of people because you want to win. There's only one person that wins.
There's only one winner, and I don't think there's any I think Cameron was the closest version of somebody who would get to the end and not get any votes. I thought, I didn't think although I don't even think that's necessarily true, because I think that people might give him votes for respect on terms of just his comp performances and things like that.
Yeah.
Maybe, but so I think like the weakest player for a final two is probably Blue as a contest. Like, of all these, I don't think she's super well liked. I don't think that she necessarily can win at the end. Or I think she's somebody I'd want to sit next to at the end. Like, why would she win?
She didn't really have any power. She rubbed a lot of people the wrong way and was basically a nothing burger once Jared was gone.
Yeah.
So at least Miss Suri was a mastermind socially. Miss Felicia won competitions, almost won this one too, right?
And was playing the game very actively,
Yeah.
right? And as Blue kind of, but like.
But regardless of how people feel about Miss Felicia, people were still willing to work with her. Blue, they just used her as like, yeah, those two are going against each other, kind of. Corey doesn't like you. Corey's coming after, and tells Corey, "Oh, a Blue's coming after you." They were not actively working together, right? She was like a passenger pigeon. Is the most type of a kind of her biggest role so far. Corey made that big move. America doesn't really have that much. Like, America and Blue are possibly the two goatiest goats, really.
Well, I think they are of this crew, but I think that they're not like they're still each respectively a target, but I think they're just the lesser targets. Like I think that what's the real harm in sitting next to America at the end other than Corey would vote for her? Like, that's only one vote, right? So but is she really going to win at the end? I don't think so.
As of right now, no. She has zero chance.
She hasn't done enough, and she's been
she hasn't done enough that's separated enough from Corey.
Yeah.
Or people are not attributing to Corey.
Yeah, Corey's getting all the credit and whatever, right? So I don't think so. Those are the two at the bottom. Then like Felicia and Suri slightly above them.
I would put Suri then Felicia.
But Matt is a huge target. He should be at least.
He is a huge target.
Jag should be a huge target. Bowie Jane even now.
Everyone loves Matt.
Well, you can love him, but you can still vote him out. You don't have to love him. Like, why would you want to go to the end with Matt? It makes no sense.
When it comes to these and people like people,
the fact that everyone loves him is the reason you should vote him out.
I agree.
So it's just whatever. But it's the scramble verse. It's the scramble verse.
You also have to be careful because if you get him out and everyone likes him, they're like, I'm going to get him for you. I'm going to get revenge, for taking out Matt.
Okay, but like there might be nobody to get revenge on, or there might be only 5 people left, and you would have to have gone after each other anyway at that point. So it's whatever, it depends how you send them out, right? But I think next week will be very interesting to see, but we still have 3 more after that, right? There's still 5 more evictions to go here. So lots to happen still.
Yes.
We haven't technically the jury. This will be the first member of the jury starting tomorrow, which I guess will be Cameron. He'll become the foreman of the jury. We're saying, right? And what would that be like? What is people
are just gonna roll their eyes whenever they get to the jury house.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see people bring him information week by week and see what he does with it.
I would laugh if it's the next 2 people after Cameron is Corey in America, and he's just alone while they're just making out all the time. It's like I'm just back in the house again.
Oh, it's just like that again. He's just
Corey
staring
first.
at the corner.
Corey first, then America.
Yeah. Hopefully for America's sake.
Yeah.
That would be cruel and unusual to put if America got voted out next after Cameron and then they had to live together for a whole week in that jury house. Ugh, that's not great. Yeah. Okay. Well, is there anything else on the spoiler talk that worth mentioning?
Not really. It's a big nothing. This there was no need. There was no need to cliffhanger it.
Okay. Well, thanks, everybody. If you have any more comments about the episode or questions, throw them in now. Otherwise, we'll probably be moving out of here. Just mention. So Thursday. Well, there was one question here from Sam, will Jeff and Foster be there on Thursday? Because they should zing. I don't really know. I doubt Foster will be available on Thursday. He's got probably 10 basketball drafts to run or something. Jeff Mader coming back from Iceland right now, and he's a possibility. But I do need to mention that here on this channel, we also cover Survivor, but not tomorrow night. We will not be on. Jameel's on nights, and I'm busy on another podcast called Hold Up. And Foster isn't going to probably run with it himself. And I don't think Jeff's back in time for it. So I think we're going to have to skip it.
Worst case scenario, I run it. You know what? I might run at 6 o'clock in the morning solo and just do an episode.
All yours. So we'll be back next week after episode 4, and then Thursday for the next eviction. Looks like it will be Cameron, but maybe we'll flip to Sari between now and then. Who's to say?
Who knows?
Who's to say? So I just said hold up tomorrow. We're talking 3 movies, including Apollo 13 and. What was the other one I watched?
Outland and Ad Astra.
Ad Astra. I've only watched one of them so far. So,
gotta get cracking.
Yeah, I know. I gotta get off with you and go watch another movie. So, Graphic Histories podcast, André Myette, comes out audio formats. Check that out. I was just recently on his show. It's a great podcast. X-rated every Tuesday with Davan and André. I guess they were on tonight. They're wrapping up those episodes and then going into some other X-Men related content. Eamon on track this Saturday. He's supposed to be on with Gary Krakolovich talking about the Dark Side of the Moon in his next album review. Look for that. And Trivial Debates, which most recently had a horror themed episode, but in the near future, a Transformers themed episode as well.
No, there's a horror movie one first.
Yes.
There's another horror movie one this month.
Another one?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
So nice. We did it twice.
Oh, there you go. Live long and podcast. If you like Star Trek, we're always on there talking about all kinds of different Star Trek stuff, like our Enterprise rewatch. We got Lower Decks right now, currently being reviewed, season 4. And I think I'm on Friday doing a Debate 9 with somebody. And
unfortunately, I could not attend.
I don't even know. Davan just told me to be there, so I'll be there. I'll debate Star Trek when I get there. What else? I think that's mostly the plugs.
That's it. All right, folks. Right now it's Amazon Deal Days or Big Deal Days, whatever it's called. You know what? It's perfect time to kind of plump up your collection, and why not throw some support picking up Star Trek Prodigy on Blu-ray or DVD. Throw some shekels in that direction because it's a great show and it needs support, and any little bit of support would be fantastic. If that's not your speed, there are deals on Strange New Worlds season 1 or 2, and also I think Lower Decks and Picard season 3. So why not, a little boost in the...
There you go. Yeah, not a sponsor, but it can't hurt. And support the arts.
We have no affiliation with Amazon.
Yeah, no affiliation. And on that note, it was Thanksgiving yesterday in Canada, but it was also Columbus Day, and I think that's some kind of a holiday. The Americans
and Indigenous Peoples Day in some states as well.
Yeah. So how about something patriotic to go out on this? We'll see you next time, and thanks for being with us here on Super Mario Bros. Podcast for this review.
Corey's not beautiful under rainy skies, short like a piece of grain. A thin mustache, if you call it that, it causes my eyes pain. America, did you have a lobotomy? He's a tiny man, can't kiss worth a damn. Let's throw him in the sea.
See you on the flip side.